Alright guys, so in today's video, we're going to be doing an unboxing of Transformers Armada Megatron. This is like the legacy line. This is really cool actually. It's not very often that I buy toys these days. And you know, I used to be a big Transformers fan when I was a kid. And when I saw them re-release this figure, I was like, wow, that's really cool. I kind of want to get my hands on it. Growing up with the show, I was pretty young when this show first came out. I think I was like probably like 8 or 7 at the time. Of course, back then I didn't have the money to buy a toy like this. So now that I was given the opportunity, I was like, yeah, I might as well buy it. I feel like the toys these days just aren't as good. Maybe that's just my opinion, or maybe it's just more nostalgia, but I do love the Transformer toys from back then. I feel like we don't get nearly as many good releases now when it comes to these things, unless you're looking at like the Masterpiece, I guess. Anyways, okay, let's get the box open. Dang, I'm so excited. It's been so long since I've got a Transformer last. Okay. Alright, here we go. Let's get him out of his cardboard prison. Sweet, pretty cool looking actually. I like the packaging. It's a lot less plasticky than it used to be. Okay. Alright, so here we have it. Transformers Armada Megatron in all of his glory. It's really cool looking. You can see, so it does have a barrel attachment that makes the tank proper length. And he's got a proper articulation up here. And it's just got this nice army green. Pretty cool looking. It's interesting to see there's like some ports around here. I'm not exactly sure what those are for, to be honest. Maybe there's some accessories you could use from other Transformers from this line. But yeah, the color scheme is really nice. And, you know, it's got some gray sort of armor plating over here. It's very cybernetic and futuristic looking. To be honest, it's been a very long time since I've seen the show, so I don't really remember exactly what Megatron looked like back in the show, but I think this is pretty accurate from what my memory serves me. It's all transformed in robot mode. It's pretty solid for the most part, and it actually does kind of roll, which is kind of surprising actually. It's a little, I mean, it's obviously not like using like a Hot Wheels or something like that. It's not gonna roll like super well, but it's kind of cool that it has that function. But yeah, honestly, I do appreciate the detail. As someone who's a fan of the show, it looks good. I can say it's like a solid figure. So let's get this bad boy transformed into robot mode. Oh yeah, here's a bit of a bottom view of what it looks like too, in case you're curious. Okay, so as you can tell, his face is covered. So on the original Armada Megatron, I believe you would be able to pull this down and it would bring down that faceplate, which kind of seems like something that I wish they had brought over to this figure, because it seems like it makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, you have this thing here, you know, clearly it's meant to be brought up and down. Like, it seems so silly that now they made it so you have to pull this out, push this in, push this back up. I don't know, to me it just seems like I wish they had kept that old feature. Anyway, so there he is in his robot form. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a really big fan of how this Megatron looks. I think they did a fantastic job of bringing him back to life. And in my opinion, I prefer how this figure looks compared to how the original Armada figure looks. I think he looks a bit less cartoony, a bit more realistic, a bit more accurate. Like, I feel like in the original one, his horns are like way too big. That's my opinion, at least, about it. But yeah, so he looks really good in robot form, actually. And it's a really solid figure. So here, so you can bring the cannon forward, you know, just like how he did it in the show. He was about to fire out like Optimus Prime and stuff. Now you can also disconnect this cannon here, and you can actually, in both of his hands, they have the ability to push it in like that, and you can just attach the cannon to the end of his arm, and then, you know, he can be like Galvatron in, you know, the G1 movie. Although it looks a little silly having it at the end of his arm here. I feel like it's a much better spot having it on this cannon here, since he's just firing from the hip. And yep. No, it's a fantastic figure, I gotta say. I'm a big fan, and I think it looks really good. Alright, so I figured that I would show his articulation. So, let's see. So these cannons do kind of move in and out. That's more like a transformation feature, not so much for the sake of articulation. These Decepticon panels do flip up all the way here, and they allow the shoulder to move and his elbow to move, and that's the same for the other side as well. So his legs are probably the most posable thing here. So he can easily, you know, do the splits. You know, he can move the top part of his leg back and forth, and it bends at the knee as well. Yeah, and as well as they twist to the side as well, right here. And do his arms twist? Yeah, his arms also can twist to the side as well, actually, right here. Yep, so that's both of his arms. So he's a pretty posable figure for the most part. You can even kind of bend the wrists a bit here, depending on what kind of poses you want to get him into. And let's see, what else can... His legs can also turn like this. Well, his head can move pretty well as well. Yep, up and down, left and right. The only thing I'd be a little bit worried about is the horns coming out. They tend to be a little loose, I noticed, so I have to keep pushing them in to keep them in his head properly. So his back cannon, so yeah, the cannon does clearly come out in front of his body, as well as it can go out behind him. And it twists around most of the way. It won't go all the way to the very bottom, so it kind of goes till like here if you go in left, and it goes till here if you're going right. So yeah, you can see the top of the tank here, and you can switch it around to the front if you wanna show like the cannon and have it in like a big attack mode. So what you want to do is you want to pull up on his body, or pull on his body. There we go, and it causes his like waist to kind of pop out. I remember from the review I saw, at least, it looks pretty similar to how the original one functioned. And then you want to pull back on the cannon to bring it down, and then move it all the way around. Come on. And then push it back down. There we go. There you go. So now you have his cannon up front, and you can move this one out, which was originally like a minicon activated thing. So, you know, it's too bad this figure doesn't have any minicon ports. It seems like it's kind of missing, you know. It's just a standalone Megatron. Anyways, yep, so there we go. We can close it up again. Yeah, I'm not really that big of a fan of this mode. I think it looks a little silly if you ask me. Pretty hilarious though. Anyways, let's bring it back. All right, so here he is standing next to a Megatron from Transformers Energon, as well as Scorponok from Transformers Energon. So these are two of my larger figures that I have from that time period. And he fits pretty well in. I mean, I think the Armada toys were a bit smaller, so, you know, I think he's pretty to scale to how the original figure was, for the most part. But yeah, it's really cool to see these guys side by side. I feel like they really did capture the original version pretty well. And now, as you can tell, I think these older figures are a bit bulkier compared to the new Armada Megatron, which is very much like a slim figure, as you can tell. And you can tell that this Megatron is significantly larger when he's right. Here, let me put him right next to Megatron here. He is definitely a bit taller and bulkier. I think it's pretty cool how he actually has like the robot form for Armada Megatron just on his arm. Well, alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you guys want to check out how to transform Transformers Legacy Armada Megatron, you guys can click the link up here. And if you guys are interested in checking out a playlist of my toy-related videos, you guys can click over here. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys all have a great day. Is that why? No, that's not why.